So we said we're not going to talk about the detail of the negotiations to show respect to our negotiators, but it's fair to say that on both sides there are always challenges in a trade negotiation. What Minister Goyal and I have agreed is that rather than our negotiators arguing, we will find solutions together, and so far I think we've made great progress.
Mr. Minister, how important is this relationship in the context of geopolitics?
Well, it's a very important relationship. Christopher Luxon, when we were in opposition, said with me in front of the New Zealand media that if we formed a government, our relationship with India would be a strategic priority for New Zealand, and we've seen the relationship grow very quickly over the last 2 years. From the world's largest democracy to two countries that were the world's first democracies, we have a lot in common. We've seen people-to-people links grow. We've seen trade start to increase. We have defence and security cooperation. And so, the world has always been a challenging place. But like-minded countries that share similar values should stand together, and that's why we're so grateful to Prime Minister Modi for his commitment and Minister Goyal for visiting this week.
Mr. Minister, if we finalize this FTA during this year or maybe 4 or 5 months, so what type of bilateral trade target you are looking for 2030?
Well, I think that what we can do is we can take some time to decide what the targets are, but we know that high-quality trade agreements that have rules that businesses can rely upon grow trade. Merely the relationship between our two Prime Ministers and saying that they want Minister Goyal and I to negotiate and reach agreement, already we're seeing the contact between the countries grow. When we visited India with Prime Minister Luxon in March of this year, when Piyush and I were able to launch the negotiation, there were some 33 MOUs and agreements signed between New Zealand and India, including between Air India and Air New Zealand, a code-share arrangement with a commitment for direct flights by 2028. So the trade is starting to grow already. Our job is to make sure the framework is balanced and right, so that actually Indian businesses and New Zealand businesses can form those strong relationships together and grow. Here is an absolute commitment, though. When we land this high-quality deal, you will come back in a few years' time, and whatever we had said we would do, it will be greater than that.
Mr. Minister, India did an FTA with IFTA countries, and because IFTA countries' economy size is small, so they balanced the FTA with $100 billion FDI commitment. So, how will you, because in your speech you said you intend to balance the trade deal, how will you balance it?
Well, if you think about another one of our trading relationships, China, when we first signed the trade agreement with China 20 years ago, there was only a few $1 billion worth of two-way trade. It's now grown to $40 billion, and New Zealand buys $20 billion worth of goods and services from that country with more than 1 billion people. So the opportunities are huge. And as far as EFTA is concerned, I've said to all of those countries, if they want to do a trade deal with New Zealand, they have to invest $100 billion here as well.
Piyush Goyal, sir, can you tell us about the trade deal between India and New Zealand is going to happen before your deal with the United States?
Well, I don't think we ever discuss deadlines when we finalize or discuss or negotiate a trade deal. Every agreement stands on its own legs, and every agreement is important. Every agreement is tailored based on the situation in each country, and every agreement will happen at the right time.
So there is no time frame for either of the deals?
There never has been a time frame for any free trade agreement that we have negotiated.
Chief Minister, I wanted to understand your thoughts on nations trying to weaponize trade. Trade is supposed to facilitate, but imposing tariffs, browbeating nations. Are you open to such tariffs?
So as a trade minister, my job is to look for the very best deal I can get for New Zealand and New Zealanders, and the best way that we've achieved that is where trade deals are balanced. There's opportunity on both sides. There's a lot of talk in different circles about the various challenges. With Minister Goyal, he and I focus on the best deal we can deliver for the citizens of New Zealand and the citizens of India, and we're going to work as hard as we can.
Are there any mobility commitments also in the FTA?
We're not talking about the detail of the negotiation, but it's fair to say, there are interests on both sides, and we're working through them.
for the world. Do you believe that after the FTA is done, we can expect some Indian brands to
Yes, so there are already Indian brands here. Not so long ago, my father bought a new vehicle, a new car, and it was an Indian vehicle. We are a fairly open economy. We don't manufacture cars here, and so manufacturers of vehicles from India are very welcome in New Zealand. And when we land a trade deal, you will find there will be no obstacle to them sending cars here.
So with a cricket analogy to this equation, great competitors on field, great friends off it.
We're batting together and we're both going to hit a 6.
So are you giving the same car to our minister to drive tomorrow?
Is he? So I have a very large truck and it has bull bars and it has my face on both sides. He's very welcome to drive it around.
Just give us a moment on the time.
Good to see you all.
Well, kia ora, good evening everybody. It is so good to see you all, and can I just say to all of you that are visiting from India, welcome to New Zealand. It is so awesome to have you all here in our country, and it's awesome to be here with our good mate, Minister Goyal. I want to say thank you, mate, for coming down.
Thank you.
And making all the way to come this way is just so special for us. So we're so grateful for you and everything that you do for India, but also for India-New Zealand relationships. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
But with that, happy to take any questions that you may have. Yes, sir.
So how do you see the proposed FTA further promoting and deepening the trade ties between the two countries?
Really very critical. I mean, we have a very complementary economies and that actually we can actually benefit from each other coming together and finding areas of where we have good commonality between our two countries. Maybe, Todd, do you want to talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, most certainly. There's many areas of cooperation. If we put aside the trade as you understand it, some of the things we've been talking about over the last year is how we can cooperate more. So as an example, New Zealand over many years has innovated through science and technology, working with our farmers and growers to find ways for them to produce a lot more, to sell to New Zealanders around the world and for them to earn more. Prime Minister Luxon has directed me in our discussions and negotiations to make sure New Zealand does its part to help Prime Minister Modi meet his commitment to increasing the earnings of Indian farmers by 50% by 2030. So a lot of the science that we have developed here to help people produce more is available to us in cooperation with India, and that's been a big part of our discussion around the negotiation so far.
Mr. Prime Minister, what is the long-term goal of our India and New Zealand strategic relationship?
Well, I think there's a huge amount of opportunity, and what Prime Minister Modi and I talked about is how do we deepen out our defence and security ties. In 2025, there is no way that we have prosperity for India and New Zealand without having stability and security as well. The two go hand in hand, and that's why having like-minded countries like India and New Zealand that actually want to maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region is very, very critical. And I'm very proud actually of the working relationship between our two militaries and the work that they've done already over the last 12 months on some joint exercises already, and we look forward to that continuing to deepen. So there's a huge amount of work around more that we can do together in defence and security. Obviously, in terms of trade, as Todd said, we have real advantages in our economy. We are the best farmers in the world. We're the most carbon efficient, but we have a massive amount of technology and innovation that has propelled New Zealand, even though it's a long way away from other countries, to be able to build the farming system we have over 150 years is really quite special. But also, this is a country that is now the third biggest launcher of rockets in the world. US, China, New Zealand, Russia, and that is because we have a very, and there's a lot of collaboration in areas like space and other things, and technology and innovation. So I think on the trade side, there's a huge opportunity. And the other thing is the people-to-people links. And so next year will be the 100th anniversary from when the Indian hockey team came to play in New Zealand. Is it right? It is right, eh? Hockey, yeah. And I played hockey for Christchurch Boys High School for 3 years, so in the first 11. So I'm looking forward to that. But we talked also about, India's got massive ambitions in terms of hosting world-class sporting events, obviously. And we, as New Zealanders, we think on a per capita basis, we're the most winningest country in the Olympics. So we are very happy to share our high performance sports approach with you as well. And maybe we'll pick up a few things on cricket and hockey from you guys would be helpful. But so I think either way you look at it, there's just a world of massive opportunity. I'd say the relationship between the two countries is the strongest it's ever been in 150 years. But actually what we are very excited about is we have new things in trade, defence and people-to-people links to propel the relationship going forward. And as Minister Goyal said, when India is about to become the third biggest economy in the world, it's a significant, in a multipolar world now, it's a really significant geopolitical centre of gravity. It's so important for us and the two countries to work together in the way that we are.
Prime Minister, will New Zealand be keen to join the Quad?
But join the
Quad.
The
Quad.
the Quad, yes. Look, I mean, we, across the Indo-Pacific, there's actually a myriad of what I'd call lattice work of multilateral partnerships that exist. We haven't been invited to join it, but obviously anything Quad adjacent, we're very happy to be involved with. But look, I mean, we are very comfortable building out stronger defence relationships and ties with India. I mean, I'm very proud of the way I watched our navies work together. And actually now India's taken over from New Zealand, leading that particular mission and doing a fantastic job. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us in defence spaces, and how that gets formalised, we're very open to that in the future. Yep.
Can I get one question, please? We got a chance. I'm Gaurav from Auckland.
Yeah,
we got a chance to talk to the ministers, but not you.
Yes.
So I want to ask you this thing. Since March, both the governments have been talking about increasing people-to-people contact.
Yes.
But Indians still have the highest visa rejection rate when they want to come to New Zealand, either work visa or their student. This is not the case with the Chinese, and your government is opening the regime for Chinese citizens to make it easy for them to come to New Zealand. Why is this discrimination towards Indians? But you are saying you want to increase people to people.
Yeah, we do want to increase people-to-people relationships, and conversations on labour mobility will be a very important part of this conversation as part of that FTA. So, we're seeing a huge number of Indian students wanting to come and get educated in New Zealand, particularly as opportunities in America are shut down, particularly as you would have even seen with Canada today talking about lowering its immigration. This is a country that's creating more opportunities to welcome people from overseas to New Zealand. Our active investor visa, has been we've had a huge reaction to that. We've had $2 billion come in, people who want to make a $5 million investment in a business in New Zealand and then have a pathway to residency. Our entrepreneurship visa, we've replaced as business visas if you make an investment in a business of $1 to $2 million and prepared to come here and operationalise it. So we're doing a whole bunch of things, not just in the student space and in the visitor space, but also in the business space as well, and welcoming investment to the country from India, from all around the world. And I think our settings are quite different from what I observe in Australia, Canada, even the UK.
So have they expressed concern that the Indians still have the highest visa rejection rate when they want to come to?
Well, there's work that our immigration services need to do, to make sure. But I'm just saying to you that we're very open to, looking at what more we can do, and we're very open to working with both sides to make sure that we can make it easier. But also, as India has its own protocols around immigration settings as well, and has to manage risks from countries that want to come, people want to come into India. It's the same for us in our immigration service as well.
Sir, by when we can expect this FTA deal with India?
Well, that is in the hands of these two gentlemen. Yep. So that is what Prime Minister Modi and I have said is we will take it, lads, as quickly as we possibly can. But I got to say, he's the nicest man on the planet, but he's also one of the toughest men on the planet, and he's holding up India's interests and acting in India's interests. And he's also one of the best trade negotiators in the world too, and has been doing it for most of his life. So between these two, they get on very well. But they are very serious about their jobs, but they don't take themselves that seriously, and that's the best combination of people that you want to see. So we're really in the hands of these two fine trade ministers. But as all four of us, Prime Minister Modi, myself, Minister Goyal, Minister Macleay, we're all very committed to say, look, this is just intuitively two countries that should have a much broader, deeper relationship. It's just common sense. It's just and the possibility of what we can do together in the years and decades ahead is very, very special. So I'm confident we'll get it resolved, we'll get a resolution in place, but there'll be a few things that each side will want to negotiate hard around, as they should, as they should.
Prime Minister, when can we expect Prime Minister Modi visiting New Zealand?
Oh, well, he's a pretty busy guy. He's welcome any time, is the short answer, and that would be fantastic if he ever could make it here. But I appreciate it's a long way to come, and he's got a lot on his plate as well. But I get to see him at different global forums that we're part of together, and I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for Prime Minister Modi. Yeah.
Last question on nations weaponizing trade.
Sorry?
Nations weaponizing trade, be it friends or foes, will they use trade to bully, weaponize, and impose tariffs, especially Trump?
So
is that not against rules-based order and what WTO norms?
Yeah, so New Zealand is a free trading country. We liberalised our economy in the late 80s, early 90s. We have no tariffs, no subsidies. We, like Singapore and other countries, were the instigators of what has become the CPTPP. And that is because it's in our instincts that when you're a small country, you have to be really good. And our businesses have had to get really lean, mean and competitive and go out in the world and win. And they've done an exceptionally good job over a number of decades in doing that. So we are people who continue to want to reaffirm the rules-based system. That's why when Liberation Day came, I hit the phones and spoke to the European leaders and the CPTPP leaders. And that's why in 3 weeks' time we've got a meeting in Melbourne to say how do those two trading blocks plug in and work together more to reaffirm the rules-based system. We don't believe that tariffs is the way forward. I appreciate President Trump campaigned on it. He's doing exactly what he said he would do. We may not like it, but we actually need to find a way to be pragmatic and work our way through that, as we have done it in a bilateral sense. But I want to make sure that the rules-based system is upheld, and that's why we'll keep making the case for it.
Now, I think the last question should be this young lady here, who is a student journalist.
Oh, really?
Interviewed.
No pressure.
Interviewed ministers.
He's really ratcheting up the pressure
and
now, isn't he?
And she was so good, she got a permanent job.
Oh, well done.
It was me she interviewed, by the way.
Yeah.
Can you please step here?
Yes?
I don't have the mic over there, sorry.
That's right. Do you want me to take the mic for you?
I can go here.
Okay.
Welcome to DDE India, sir. Can you tell us how do you see India as a strategic partner in strengthening New Zealand's economic resilience?
Well, India is one of the most consequential countries on the planet, and it's becoming the third biggest economy in the world. It has a huge defence responsibility as well to make sure there's peace and stability in the Pacific region. It connects many different parts of the world, the global south, the west, east. It does everything. And so for us, it's a huge opportunity to work together. Equally, we think New Zealand has lots to bring to the party to add value to India, and we think India has a lot to bring to the party to add value to New Zealand. And really our goal is to make sure that we lift incomes and create jobs and opportunities for people both in India and New Zealand by working together in a better way.
Right. And beyond trade, what areas do you see New Zealand and India collaborating on?
Major focus on defence and security, because we don't have prosperity without having security in the region. And the second area is really around our people-to-people links. And what we find is that New Zealanders love Indians, and the Indians seem to love the Kiwis. And as a result, we get to know each other, we get to understand each other, and from there, the conversations happen around trade and investment and flows of capital and information as we get to know and understand each other. So we want to keep encouraging that too.
Definitely, I hope that happens soon. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you very much. And no
your one comment on India women cricket team performance in the World Cup.
What an outstanding performance. I watched the highlights of the game last night and against South Africa, and you've tried twice before and got it on the third go, wasn't it? And then I watched the pandemonium and the celebrations in the streets across India, and it was really quite a party. So I just want to say congratulations to them. They were outstanding, truly world class. And they deserve to win. So, yeah, we're very proud of them, even though we would have loved New Zealand to win. Probably if we couldn't get New Zealand to win, we probably would have backed the Indians anyway. So as long as someone beats Australia, that's all we care about, and that's what you guys do so well.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Huh.
Yes,
इसका पीसी का पूरा भेजूं